When I was in the first grade, it was about 1 month into the school year, and we were pulled out of school, and I had no idea what was going on. I was very young.
So when I was about 8 years old, I just remember there being one big fight in our house, and then after that, my mom just stayed in the basement kind of permanently. She didn't go upstairs at all.
My mom and dad didn't argue. They didn't even talk. It was silence.
One day, my mom came to walk my sister and I home from school, but instead there was a cab waiting for us outside.
And she said, we're going to the mall. We're going on a trip. And I was just like, okay, fun, let's do it. We ended up going to this place. I had no idea what it was. It was a women's shelter.
We initially moved here from Morocco when I was 8 years old. And we moved in with my aunt's family. But then we tried to find homes in the area, but with my mom being a single mom at the moment, she didn't have the financial means to have her own home or even rent a home.
I grew up in Ethiopia until I was 7, and I had a pretty comfortable life there. We came to meet my dad and my oldest brother, but my parents did not get along and they had a very difficult relationship. So one day my mom decided that she couldn't stay with him any longer. She fled to Homestretch, and within 24 hours they placed us, I think, a hotel room and then later an apartment.
A couple months after the women's shelter is when we got into Homestretch. And that was the first time we had our own apartment, so it was very different.
I remember when my mom told my sister and I, I have really good news. We got accepted into this housing program called Homestretch. She told us, it was the best news she's ever heard. She's like, Sahara, Burmim, all my prayers have been answered. Everything's gonna be okay now. She was very, very happy. I remember when we actually did finally move and seeing our apartment for the first time, it was a crazy feeling. It was unbelievable. It was, we just couldn't believe that it was actually ours, and having our own place to call home was life-changing.
Not only did they help her with housing, but they helped her with education, finding a job, resources, classes, daycare for my sister.
They were there for her. They helped her get her first job. Homestretch really helped guide us and walk us through life, especially my mom, because they were giving her classes. They were teaching her English. They gave her an apartment, a car. They were kind of giving us steps exactly how to get to where we are today. It could have been so difficult. Our life could have gone so differently if we hadn't found Homestretch.
My first encounter with Homestretch would honestly be Miss Norma, and she was very caring. She was like a second mom to me, honestly. They had food, clothing, all the essentials that you need as a human being.
Homestretch was always providing birthdays. They would get us cakes and gifts, and Christmas and holidays, and even Thanksgiving they would give us food.
Every Christmas they would give us gifts, and it was so sweet. It was basically wrapped up for my sister and I's birthday gifts, and it was just, they provided us with so much. They gave us so much happy feelings.
It was a space that felt like family, and it felt like they wanted us to win and they wanted us to succeed.
Homestretch gave us the possibility to actually stand on our own and be independent. They wanted you to have financial stability, be on your own, do your own thing.
It definitely was life-changing in that when I started the 5th grade, they actually helped me get a scholarship to go to a private school. So that was really, really great. I went to a private school for about 4 years. So I remember when I got into George Mason and my mom had tears in her eyes, and it was just a great feeling. And sorry, it's making me cry too. I got into George Mason, and then eventually my sister got into George Mason. It felt like that all my mom's hard work paid off in the end.
I'm at George Mason. I'm studying business finance, and I'm in my senior year, so almost there.
Graduated high school in 2017, and then I went to New York to study at New York University. I studied globalization, media, and technology at the Gallatin School of Individualized Study. I received an academic scholarship, and it covered about 80% of my tuition. I'm really grateful to have received that scholarship. That was a real blessing to be able to, go to school and not worry about how I was going to afford it.
My plans are to hopefully be a data analyst and also a app developer. My first degree, my bachelor's was in biology and pre-med, and then my second degree was in healthcare administration.
I'm most proud of my sister and I being able to go and graduate from college. I just don't feel like I could say enough good things about Homestretch or what they've done for us.
Homestretch is a beautiful community. I literally love Homestretch. I always looked at Homestretch as like a safe space for me and my family.
Growing up and kind of leaving your family to live in a women's shelter, it does change your childhood.
It's really difficult to be displaced at a young age because you're developing when you're a kid and you're figuring out who you are. Homestretch has really allowed me to preserve my childhood almost because I was able to have all these experiences that children should have.
Homestretch is a family for those who don't have a family, and they're a home for those who don't have a home.
I truly feel like they were just like a godsend, that everything they did for us is what made us who we are and got us here today. So I would say thank you.
I think Homestretch really is just some kind people, some selfless people.
I definitely don't think we could be where we are now if we hadn't had Homestretch.
I don't think there's enough that I could say about Homestretch. It's a beautiful community that I hope I can be a part of for life.